Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. 6:07 Wednesday, August 3rd. 66 degrees. Get up to 77 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the radio pop app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160. We are joined now by Jessica Finnegan and Kristen McQueen. Stroke specialist, stroke program co-champions at HealthSouth Rehab.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you? I'm
fabulous. I do laugh every time we say good morning, even though you've been sitting there for 10 minutes. Like, it's just natural. Like, you just walked in, and here we are. So why don't you give me give the listeners kind of an overview of what the program is at HealthSouth Rehab that we're talking about today?
Okay, great. So we're here today to talk about our stroke program at HealthSouth. It's one of 5 disease-specific programs that we offer at HealthSouth. We're very proud of it. It's a very successful program. We have wonderful outcomes for patients who come to us with any type of stroke. We see patients with all kinds of varieties of stroke severity, all different ages. Of course, we're in Ocean County, so most of our patients are over 65, a vast majority. So within the last year or so, we've seen about 250 stroke patients, and we've seen very successful outcomes with those patients. And so we're very proud of our program and excited to talk about it today.
Very cool. So for a $100 gift certificate to Uncle Dude's Donuts, what are the other 4 programs that besides stroke?
We have the brain injury program, cardiac program, pulmonary, and diabetes.
Okay, that was there wasn't really a gift certificate.
Oh, darn.
I'm just saying. I mean, it was a shameless plug for Uncle
You're just going to go buy a lot of donuts after this.
We're going to go buy a bunch of donuts. All right, so cool. So you guys each have kind of specific roles within this program. Kristen, why don't you tell us first about what you kind of do within the program?
Well, my primary position at HealthSouth is really as a speech therapist. And within the program, Jessica and I work together to, we look at the data for everybody's outcomes, make sure that they're really getting all the different services that they need. Is it necessary for them to maybe see a neuropsychologist or a neurooptometrist? Are they really progressing in the program? And we talk about all of that at a weekly meeting of the team members to talk about all of our patients. And then we have our monthly meetings where we help to coordinate everything. And one of the big things that we really like and a really new thing for us is our Sharegivers program. Mm-hmm. That was just started. And one of our case managers, Mary Kisco, really started that up for us. And what Sharegivers is where people from the community who have had a stroke can come back and volunteer with us to go and speak with our current inpatients and kind of mentor them through the process a little bit.
Cool. So let me get this straight though. So you do speech, mm-hmm. right? And you do physical therapy,
That's
right?
Right,
yeah. Jessica. So do you guys kind of work with the patients in that discipline and kind of compare notes in a team meeting? Is that the way that kind of works?
Yeah, absolutely.
You look like you were going to have a different answer there though, Kristen. What was that?
Well, no, definitely. But, we have our caseloads that might have people
Oh, so this is separate.
Right. And then there's the program where we get together and talk about everybody. So we have knowledge of all the patients in the program, but we specifically may not be their therapist.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we communicate with all of their therapists.
Right. You just communicate better because you do speech. Right? So although you use your hands more than so, like I always thought that I would have thought that the physical therapy, the physical therapy champion, the specialist, would use their hands more. But it's actually
my Italian background.
Yeah, that must be what it is. It must be the Italian background. All right. So let's go back for a second about kind of how you guys ended up where you were. So. Jessica, you've been with HealthSouth for about 7 years now, right?
That's right.
So how did you decide that you wanted to get into physical therapy? Like, where did that come from?
Well, in high school, I played a lot of sports, and I thought that I wanted to do sports rehab. So that's really why I got into physical therapy. And then once I started school and started to do my clinicals and I had an inpatient rehab neurological affiliation, I really kind of fell in love with the process of being able to help someone whose life has completely changed by something like a stroke, and getting to see kind of like the joy in their faces when they learn to walk again for the first time was really wonderful. And so I kind of decided that I wanted to focus more on neurological rehab.
Right. So you felt like more satisfied helping someone that was trying to get their life back as opposed to someone who, may have, tweaked a hamstring repeatedly and may or may not be as grateful as the person. Yeah, okay.
Right.
What sports did you play in high school?
Field hockey, primarily.
Primarily. Doesn't that hurt your back?
No, surprisingly, no.
I can't. Zach, did you ever watch the girls play field hockey?
Yes, I have.
Does it not hurt your back just watching it?
It does, yeah.
Like they're all crouched
I'm
over.
extremely tall,
you have to have
too,
very flexible hamstrings.
Yeah. Like I think you have to be about 4'6" to be a good field hockey player. But all right, I got you. All right, we'll move along from that. So, Kristen, speech therapy. Aside from your Italian upbringing, which means you spoke a lot. Not that look, I'm Jewish, so I can
Loudly.
say that. Yeah, I understand. So how did you decide to go into speech therapy?
Initially, I thought I wanted to work with children, and I went into speech therapy because I thought that would be a really great way to help kids. And then once I was in school, we did different externships in different places. I was in a hospital and working with adults there. I really, just like Jessica said, fell in love with working with people who you could help get back to where they were. One of my first patients, we helped them to say their loved one's, their wife's name for the first time, and they cried. It was so emotional. So that's really something that I just wanted to continue with.
Okay. And so you went to the University of Connecticut, right?
Yes, for my undergraduate.
So how's your basketball game? Are you, because I thought all women that went to UConn played basketball.
I don't think you'd want to see me play.
No, not so much. You just cheered for the team, like
Yes.
go Huskies.
UConn.
Yeah, go. That's great. Okay. All right. So you both decided. You both kind of came about in a kind of a similar way. Had a different idea in mind, and then kind of had a kind of an aha moment that changed it. So when we come back. Right, that's my cue for Zach to get ready for the commercials. And when we come back, I'd like to kind of dive deeper into what the program is all about and kind of how you really day to day work with a stroke patient, and maybe some things in your experience that would be telltale signs for folks that they should maybe go see a doctor and make sure that that they can catch this, because I'm sure just like any other disease, any other illness, catching it early is certainly much more beneficial than waiting before serious damages it takes place. Jessica Finnegan, Kristen McQueen, HealthSouth Rehab Stroke Program co-champions. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin back after this.
Stay tuned for Preferred Company with Joel Markell and Marianne Levy at 8. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin continues next. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. We are here with Jessica Finnegan and Kristen McQueen, HealthSouth Rehab Stroke Program co-champions. Right, it was a very close race, so they decided to give them both the championship. That's awesome. It's like everybody gets a participation medal. Now, why don't you tell me? We hear the phrase acute care often, but I don't know that I certainly don't necessarily know the difference. So, what's the difference between an acute care facility and like a nursing home?
Okay, well, HealthSouth is an acute inpatient rehab facility. So basically, it's a different licensure from a nursing home level of care. And so there are different requirements that HealthSouth has to meet in order to keep that licensure. One of the things is we have to have frequent visits. The patients have to have frequent visits from their attending physician. So the patients will see their rehabilitation doctor at least 3 times per week. With us, it tends to be more often. Our patients often see the doctor 5 times a week. In a nursing home setting, there's not really a requirement for how many times per week the patient has to see the doctor. So they might see them very, very much less frequently. Nursing homes don't require an interdisciplinary team approach, whereas acute rehab hospitals do. So like we were talking earlier about team meetings and really having the opportunity to discuss each patient's case so that we can really create the best possible outcome for them. So that's something that the American Heart Association and American Stroke Association have really deemed to be very important for the patient's rehab. So they've actually issued guidelines this May that state that after a stroke, it's more favorable for a patient to attend an inpatient rehab hospital level of care rather than a nursing home level of care. And a big part of that is the interdisciplinary team approach.
Right. Which is illustrated here because we have, you guys kind of represent two different disciplines.
Right.
Right. So
right.
that's interdisciplinary.
Absolutely.
I guess my just like high level, I guess the way I look at it, I kind of see a nursing home as like, we're just going to like kind of put you there and maintain. Whereas at HealthSouth, really the goal is to rehabilitate and get you back to as close to normalcy as possible. Is that a fair characterization?
Our goal is always for the patient to discharge back to their home setting when they're done with their care at HealthSouth. Whereas the typical length of stay in a nursing home setting might be much longer. Right. Might be permanent.
Sure. All right. So they do. So patients go through 3 hours a day of work here. What does that look like?
They may have a physical therapy. Well, they will have physical therapy and occupational therapy, and if needed, they'll have speech therapy. Any patient coming with a diagnosis of stroke will have an evaluation by the speech therapist to just take a look at their communication, swallowing, and thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go through with me the difference between physical therapy and occupational therapy.
Great question. We get that one a lot.
Thank you.
Generally, physical therapists tend to focus more on what we call gross motor function, so things like walking, getting in and out of a chair, up and down stairs.
My daughters call my gross motor function something completely different. Got it now. All right, go ahead.
And occupational therapy focus more on fine motor control, so things like writing, as well as activities of daily living, so being able to get back to bathing, combing your hair, cooking for yourself, returning to work if that's a goal for that particular patient. Basically anything that the person spends their day doing.
Gotcha. Okay, so which most of us just kind of take for granted. A lot of it we take for granted, but that's the kind of has to be retrained and retaught, right?
Right.
So and then at the end, you mentioned earlier there's a support group, right? So what's that all about?
So our support group runs once a month. It's the third Tuesday of every month from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And basically it's an opportunity for former patients of ours to come back to the facility, as well as other members of the community and our current inpatients. So they have the opportunity to all get together, talk about their experiences, share what's working for them, things that they're struggling with. That sort of thing.
And that helps, I guess motivate and inspire those that are kind of newer on the road to kind of keep pressing forward, right?
Right. They get to see other people's successful outcomes, and that can be inspiring for them.
Okay, cool. What's the size of your group that's working just specifically on stroke at HealthSouth?
Our actual team probably has about 8 members. Dr. Ferenz, who's a neurologist, is our medical director. He's very involved with our program as well. But it's a 98-bed rehab hospital, so it's a very big rehab hospital. We have a very, very big staff.
Right.
And everyone's really trained to be able to work with the neurological population, including stroke patients. So we have, I think it's 18 or 20 full-time physical therapists, maybe 16 occupational therapists.
And 5 speech therapists.
Cool.
Yeah, so big team.
And for most of you that haven't seen HealthSouth Rehab, certainly recently, has been undergoing a pretty major facelift, kind of redoing wing by wing of the rehab facility and, really updating it. And it's really, really state-of-the-art, kind of great-looking facility. Zach and I were fortunate enough to do a mugging there. We got to bring donuts and coffee and mugs and the whole nine. All right. When we get back, I want to talk about what are some of the warning signs or some of the things that folks should be looking out for. Because I don't think everybody knows even when they have a stroke, right?
Right.
But what would that look like? And then we're going to give you each your magic wand and see what you do with it. And then we'll do some HealthSouth propaganda about where folks can get in touch and learn more. We have Jessica Finnegan, Kristen McQueen, HealthSouth Rehab, stroke co-champions. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin back after this.
Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 6:34, Wednesday, August 3rd. 66 degrees, get up to 77 today. WOBM AM 1160, 1310. News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160. Join the conversation. We are joined in studio by Jessica Finnegan and Kristen McQueen, stroke program co-champions, HealthSouth Rehab, right here in beautiful, sunny Toms River, New Jersey, although it may not be sunny yet. It wasn't sunny. Wasn't sunny when you walked in at 5:45, was it? Ha!
Sure wasn't.
Welcome to my world. All right, so why don't you give us what are some of the telltale signs of possibly a stroke? I mean, how would people know if they had a mini stroke or if something wasn't right?
Well, we like to teach people the acronym FAST. So for each letter in the word FAST stands for one of the signs. So F would stand for face. You'd want to look at somebody's face. If they smile, is their smile crooked? That might be a sign that they're having a stroke. A for arm, so lift up both your arms. If one arm is drifting downward, that might be a sign that something's going on. S is for speech, so listen to how they sound. Is their speech slurred? Are they confused? And T is most important, time, because you want to get to the hospital as quickly as you can if you're experiencing any of the signs of a stroke. And that's just a few of the signs. Really, you want to look for any sudden change, especially a sudden and severe headache that comes out of nowhere.
Right. And then it would be something more than just if my wife was nagging me for the morning or something like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not going to get any sympathetic ears here, though. Unfortunately, this is probably the wrong room for that. So if you've had a stroke, are you more kind of likely to get another one? Does that kind of start a trend, or how does that work?
Having had a stroke does put you at a greater risk for having another stroke. So it's important to kind of find out what your risk factors were so you can do different things like lifestyle changes, medication management to help to reduce those risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, cardiac issues.
The things you can't control, of course, are family history and age, but those play a big role as well in someone's risk factors for stroke.
That was actually a funny moment because, Kristen, you were talking and you were kind of looking over at Jessica like, are you going to take over now? And Jessica was just staring at you like, no, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. And you're like, I'm going to take a pregnant pause on this last comment here and maybe you'll jump in. And then Jessica, like just as you were about to hit the ground, she kind of picked you back up.
She did.
That was nice.
She has good nonverbal communication because she's a speech therapist.
That's right. She's really mastered the nonverbal piece. Right. That's a great job. All right, cool. And let's move right along. So we're at the part now where we kind of give you both a magic wand. We're only budgeted, by the way, for one magic wand per guest spot. And since there's two of you, I'm gonna have to talk to Mike and Steve about a second magic wand this morning. But that's all right. We'll take care of it. We give you a magic wand, the pixie dust, the fairy dust, the ability just to kind of wiggle your nose and make an impact, make something change in your world. We will start with Kristen. What is it that you would do? You're like, no, start with we will start with Jessica. Jessica, you made the look like, no, please start with Jessica. So Jessica, what are we doing with our magic wand?
I think I would like to change just how the way that stroke rehabilitation is sometimes perceived as I want to hurry up and get this over with kind of a thing. A length of stay in a rehab hospital, they're tending to get shorter and shorter because of changes in insurance coverage and that sort of thing. And I wish that more people really understood that it's going to be a lifelong process to recover from a stroke, and that there's this feeling that sometimes whatever you get back after 6 months, that's all you're going to get back, which is really not the case. And as long as the person continues to work hard at it, there's really no limit to what they can achieve and what they can get back after a stroke.
Cool. Very good. Kristen, did that help you? Did that give you a little more, or did that actually kind of ruin you now?
Did I steal yours?
Kind of covered.
No, you can't. You don't get to do that.
I mean,
No.
really, I'd like just for people not to have, if I get to have the pixie dust.
Right.
I don't want people to have a stroke anymore. That would really be ideal. But really, it is just people being educated about what a stroke is and really understanding it and being more accepting of those who have had a stroke and what differences they might see in them. You know, whether it's a weakness on one side or maybe some slurred speech, that they're not, you know, it hasn't diminished their intelligence, but that they are still a person. They're just a little bit different than they used to be.
And you do understand, by the way, if you totally eliminated stroke, you'd have to go find a job. You understand
Right.
that, right?
That's fine.
I'm just saying. It reminds me of a Weird Al song. You're like, what are you talking about? It reminds me of a Weird Al song. It's called Yoda, right? It's a play on Lola. And there's a line in there that says, it says to Luke Skywalker, remember, if you kill Darth Vader, you'll be unemployed. That's all. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. All right. Where are we going? Let's say we wanted to find out more about HealthSouth Rehab. Where would folks go? Is there a website? Is there a Facebook? Is there an Instagram? Is there a Snapchat?
Twitter,
is there a
there
Twitter? Is there a Tinder? What do we do?
There's all of those things.
Except for Tinder.
The easiest place to go is rehabnj.com. That's the website for all 3 HealthSouth Rehab hospitals in New Jersey, including Toms River and also Tinton Falls and Vineland. One of the other things that we do is direct referrals. So patients that have had a stroke in the past can be admitted from home. So the number for the direct referral program is 732-505-5064.
Cool. Let me ask you a question. If you have a particularly bad day at work and you have a boss there, do they threaten to send you to Vineland? Do you ever get threatened? I mean, have you ever been to Vineland?
Never.
No.
Oh, then don't
It's
go.
rough.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's far.
It's a lot of cows.
It's super far. There's a lot of cows, and it makes like I'll put it to you this way. It makes like the southern part of Ocean County look like New York City. That's all I'm going to say, right? Cool. Jessica Finnegan, Kristen McQueen, HealthSouth Rehab, Stroke Program, co-champions, really great programs. And all kidding aside, HealthSouth, we are so fortunate here at the Jersey Shore and in Ocean County in particular to have HealthSouth Rehab, which is really one of the premier rehab facilities in the country. Right there on the same campus as Community Medical Center, they do a great job. It's a great facility. It's a great team. And obviously we're fortunate to have you here at the Jersey Shore helping out folks as they recover from a serious life event like a stroke. So thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunton. We'll be back right after this.